Today I will show you how to reform the Asatru faith and turn the already awesome Norse faith into something even greater. Meet Knut Odinson, the self-proclaimed messiah of Odin, who is going to show you how it's done. To reform a faith you need two things. First, you need a ton of piety, and second, you need 3 out of 5 holy sites, which we'll come to later. First, gaining a ton of piety begins with the character creation. First off, we take the best learning education, because learning equals more piety per month. Then we pick some personality traits that are virtuous for the Asatru, being wrathful, brave, and vengeful. We also take the trait one-eyed, which is virtuous to the Asatru, which makes sense because Odin himself was one-eyed. Knut, the real son of Odin. The traits are all great traits by themselves, but because they are virtuous for the Asatru, they will net you 1 extra piety per month per trait. So that's plus 4 extra piety per month. So on the extra, every virtuous trait also makes the Asatru opinion plus 10. So that's plus 40 opinion from all of your kinsmen. Then we also take the scholar trait, which gives just 5 extra learning points. And now we start in the beautiful county of Pronderheim. And we start here because it already has one of the holy sites in it. For the reformation of the Asatru faith you need 3 out of the 5 holy sites. Those can be Ranaheim, Upland, Jorvik, Paderborn or Koningardr. The ones that are the easiest to get are Ranaheim, Upland and Jorvik. We already have Ranaheim, so we only need 2 more. So we're aiming to get Jorvik and Upland. But before we do that, Knut needs to get settled. I take the theology focus in the learning lifestyle, which gives a flat plus 1 piety per month. And we're building towards the prophet perk, because that'll cut the piety cost for reforming the faith by 50%, which is huge. And then it's finally time to look for some love. I filter on the ladies with the lustful trait because it boosts fertility. You could also go for fecund, but I like lustful more. Plus we also need a lot of babies to forge alliances. Then I filter on the girls with the highest learning, and I pick Wilhelmine, because she's young, lustful, and has high learning. After that it's time to check my council, which, apart from my spy master, is awful. Luckily I had a few random women in my court, which I could matrilineally marry out to get a higher skilled Godi, Steward, and Marshal. Oh, I missed a time where you could just marry yourself out of your problems instead of into them. There was no court physician in the house, so I sent out my boys to look for one. And we picked Odin as our personal deity, something Asatru can do, which gives a 0.03 piety per dread. So, the county of Upland is part of the duchy of Upland. We need to keep an eye on Jarl Björn Ironside troops and attack him when he's at his weakest. It's kind of a race against the clock because Björn is kind of an expansionist, and we best take Upland before he manages to turn it into Sweden. By now, the piety was slowly going up already. We now netted 8.3 per month, which is pretty good. Because we need a lot of children to marry off for alliances, I find we are justified to find some side love in the form of concubines. Hopefully they'll give us some more children to marry off. My wife didn't really like me taking concubines, so I now started a scheme to sway her. Remember boys, happy wife, happy life. Well, at least this part of the plan worked out. My wife and my concubines are all pregnant at exactly the same time. I wonder what happened there. I wanted to do a pilgrimage to get the pilgrim trait for even more piety, but I had no money, so I started doing what Norsemen do best. Raid our neighbors. My daughter Pori was born not long after the rage, followed by the one and only, my son and heir, Thor himself, Odinson. And I called him Thorhim. Yeah, just don't ask. While picking his education, I had a brain fart. I should have picked learning, so my son could take over my quest to reform the faith if I die. But apparently I picked diplomacy. But at least the raids gave us just enough money to go on a pilgrimage. Guys, don't be me. Don't pick the cheapest pilgrimage. Because I didn't get the trait. Just save up a little more and go for the most expensive one. Just after returning home from my relatively fruitless endeavor, the Jarl of Jamtaland decided he wanted my county, and he declared war. He had a lot bigger army than I did, so I did what every loving father would do. I sold my son to the neighbor with the most troops. And this was Jarl Halfdan Whiteshirt of Jorvik. This guy starts the game with a lot of event troops who don't respawn after they die, and because the holy site that we need is in Jorvik's domain, him helping us will thin out his troops and weaken him, while at the same time helping us in our current war. That's 2 birds in 1 stone. I instantly summon him to war and we easily won. Oh yeah, and sometime during the war, my second son was born, who the game named Refill, and I kept the name because he would be a great refill if Thorhim died. To be a bit safer in my quest to reforming the Norse faith, I wanted to expand a bit, so a few years later I claimed the chiefdom of Jamtaland for myself, and conquered it with the help of my friend Halfdan. It's now time to look at the second holy site, and we want to take it in Upland and... oh yeah, Sweden has formed already. Whoopsie, we waited a bit too long. However, with the help of my allies, I managed to siege the holding of Upland and won. This makes 2 holy sites, only 1 more to go. I tasted blood and now I want more. I captured the county of Mary next to us just to become a little bit more powerful, in case someone wanted to attack us. Which happened not long after when the Jarl of Jomtaland wanted his piece of land back. His army was too big for me and my allies to handle, so I had to marry one of my daughters off for an alliance with the chief of Sogn, a county a little bit to the south. And while fighting that war, my son and heir got murdered. Well, that sucks, but luckily we have refilled to... oh my god. Despite both of my sons getting murdered, I managed to win the war. Now we have to wait until our ally Halfdan Whiteshirt dies, so his realm would split up and I could easily take the last holy site in Jorvik. And conveniently, he died just a few years later. His son Siegfried was now in charge and only had 1 alliance, which made him a lot stronger. So I sought out, but marriage tied up the alliance and killed the guy, only to find out that I killed the wrong guy and Siegfried still had the alliance. Pro gamer move. I had no more patience left to kill off the other alliance, so I called the boys and we went to war against Siegfried. And we won it pretty easily, because he was fighting a war somewhere else too. And with that, we now have all the holy sites we need to reform the Asatru faith. And with the preparation we've done, we have more than enough piety to reform. The basic reformation will cost around 5,000 piety to reform, but because we have the prophet skill, it only takes 2,500. The more piety you have, the more you can tinker the faith to what you want it to be. Thanks for watching guys, and I hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe for more. Bye!